How would you like to achieve your first million? And today we have the Professor Carlos González-Carrasco with his professors of New Science Ecosur Mexico and a young professor and director of Africa Center for Digital Diplomacy, also lecturer and geotechnologies, geopolitics in the University of Nairobi, Kenya. So today we have uh, the knowledge and the experience together in this broadcast. So Carlos, tell us, what are the 5 steps to make the first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
First of all, Harry, I really appreciate to have this amazing opportunity to share with a fellow traveler in this amazing life journey where we want to do well for ourselves and for society in general. So first of all, my true appreciation to you, Harry, to have this opportunity.
Thank you.
In terms of the steps that I normally and have been part of my life, is that the first step is to be aware, to become conscious of my own potential and self-belief in my vision to achieve everything that I wanted to achieve in my life. So, for example, in my way of how I see myself, I have a study in 6 different professions academically. So I have 6 university degrees. And my vision was that I couldn't be a person reduced to only one discipline. But that's how I saw myself. I respect anyone else that have followed only one discipline during their entire life. But I never saw myself that way. I wanted to be someone with a holistic vision, with the ability to think systemically, and for that, I have engaged myself in multidimensional activities. So as an economist, as an engineer, as a scientist, as a researcher, but also working for 30 years at the highest level of the corporate environment. So that's the step one, to become aware of your own potential and that your vision will be a successful one.
I
So
think
I
it's
can
really powerful, Carlos, because and that's describe a lesson for all the entrepreneurs listening, because being an entrepreneur uh, is you cannot if you're very good at only one topic, you cannot be in business. You cannot be an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is someone that has to, like you described, have more a holistic approach, like a 360 approach, because they need to know about marketing, they need to know about sales, they need to know about accounts, they have to know, yeah. And actually, if they can master all this knowledge in the same way that you master several topics, this is has to do a lot with the mindset of the entrepreneur. An entrepreneur, if it goes in the nature that they have to know a lot about too many things, which is actually reflects excellent your step number one. So then, Carlos, after the entrepreneurs are aware and they learn as much as they can for all the different topics, because that's going to be key for the success again, to reinforce. If you can, like Carlos said, you respect a lot someone that master only one topic, but someone that master only one topic becomes an employee, a very good employee. I can make a lot of money. But if you master only one topic, you cannot be in business, because business is about multi topics. You have to know a lot about a lot of topics. and that will lead to success. So after so I'm so glad that you touched this point, because I'm coming from you, with all your experience, because not many people talk about about the multi knowledge that the entrepreneurs need to have. So then, Carlos, once they achieve that level, and hopefully they learn deep, so many different topics, like you described, a 360 approach, what will be the second step based on your own experience that the entrepreneur should be doing?
I think you already mentioned it, Harry, and is to
I did
develop.
I?
Yes, you did, which is the second one, is that you need to develop a quality mindset. And what it means, a quality mindset, is that you have to have the beliefs that your ideas, your vision, your product will be competitive, not in terms of the quantity, but on the quality of your mindset as a leader. So what it means, you have to become a conscious leader. Yes. And a conscious leader, they have a mindset, as, as we say on the first step, of a variety of skills, which contain human skill, technical skills, operational skill, organizational skills, environmental skills. So a quality mindset, it means that you now as a leader, as a business leader, have an understanding of the multidimensionality of what you're going to be involved with. Because you're going to be involved with people that have their own mindset, their own vision, their own ways of doing things. So as a leader, you really need to develop this quality issue, which is to do on the quality of human relations. Yes. But also, as you said, with the ability to now set the foundations for the next step.
So what will be the next one? Step number 3?
Oh well, here we go now. This is the best one. Now, what is important now is the ability to engage in quality relationship when you set up a team, not of followers, but leaders. So your team are people who add value, make a contribution, and think of working together with the same belief that we can achieve our first million.
Yeah.
So for me, this is really important. I don't like followers. I also like other leaders. So we are, all of us, leaders. And we organize ourselves to manage ourselves with the belief that together we can achieve a lot of things.
Very good, Carlos. Yeah. Yeah, the step number 2 and 3 I love them, because number 1, exactly, the entrepreneur has to become, like you describe, a conscious leader, right? um, but the step number 3 is even more powerful, because some people say, no, build the team, or bring the right people, right? And what you describe is something completely different. Is you are saying just attract leaders to your organization, and this is how it works. You cannot attract leaders to your organization if you don't become a leader yourself, because leaders attract leaders. Correct?
Yeah, this is to do with the
It's not
qualities.
about building the team, Carlos. It's about attracting leaders to your organization, right?
Yes, correct. So what you do is in quality relationship, you attract quality. There is not
Mm-hmm.
there is not point on engaging in business and be successful with followers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So everybody need to become quality leaders. They will have to become conscious leaders themselves. I
Mm-hmm.
can help them, but ideally, in the process of establishing the team, you can already assess their potential. And my role is to give them the belief to them that they have the full potential also to be leaders.
Mm. Then Carlos, then what would be the next step? Step number 4.
Well, now the next step, we're moving to get the money.
Absolutely.
Yes. So now with this team, with the self-belief that we have established, we now need to move into the more technical aspect of the business, meaning identity of all of us with the product, with the service. So the issue of identifying yourself, meaning the following, Harry, you are an ambassador of yourself, but you are the ambassador of your product or your service. You are the ambassador, another ambassador in the business that is going to work with the clients, is going to generate the necessary financial rewards, not just for yourself, but for the company. So we need to agree on a financial strategy, on a financial plan. We need to agree on how we're going to organize ourselves, how we're going to manage ourselves, what operational aspect we're going to put in place, and also in defining the market. Yes. From this perspective, the whole knowledge base, so knowledge based thinking is very important. Know-how, yes. So it means that, for example, with new technologies, we need to really engage with the new technology in order to generate the condition for securing our first million. So the fourth part is more on the technical side.
Mhm. Yeah. And then, Carlos, after we design this, what will be the last step?
It's the best one.
Ah, wow.
Continuous improvement, continuous dynamic
Oh, I love
evolution.
it.
The dynamic evolution that take place because of the four previous steps. Now, what it means here, nothing is fixed, nothing is rigid. Everything is dynamic, everything is evolving. And it means that we, as leaders, we have to be engaged in our continuous improvement. So as a leader, I ask my colleagues, hey, we're doing very well today, but what can we do to do better tomorrow? So
That's fantastic. Yeah.
but what it means is that our business is a systemic thinking business that is continuously updating, reframing, reconnecting, and is a business that is thinking most of the time from the perspective of quality improvement in all the things that we do.
Mm. And then, Carlos, the now let's talk about business in general, because some of the steps that you describe is related to build the foundation of the business. So a lot of people say, when you see a really, really tall building, what people don't know is that the foundation is really, really deep. So the more foundation you have deep and structure and think at the bottom, the more stronger you can build high. So, what is your views, Carlos, in this business foundation? And what are the most important elements that entrepreneurs should be looking at while building this foundation to make sure that it's solid? Yeah. Um, Before you actually bring your product to market and start to grow. So, tell us a little bit more about this.
Okay, I will use a metaphor because you really inspire me now. So
Thank you.
on the solid foundation, we have a metaphor. We say you cannot start building your house from the roof.
Mm.
You have to build your house making sure that the roots, the foundations are solid. And here is the other allegory. Your house, your business have to be able to face tsunamis, earthquake, storms, cyclones, hurricanes.
Wow,
Yes.
very powerful.
Yes. So what it means is my colleagues have to understand that our foundation have to be solid enough. So no matter the storms, no matter the tsunamis, we keep focus on ourselves. So that will be the first metaphor of a foundation. Another foundation and another metaphor is the Lego. So the Lego foundation, if your Lego is weak on the foundation, for more that you add or take out pieces of the Lego, is going to fall.
Mm-hmm.
So here, in terms of the dynamics, is to really assess what pieces are you going to add to the Lego as you are
Bro.
involved in the competition with others, and what pieces you're going to remove from the Lego.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the whole thing, Harry. The foundation have to be so strong that it will allow to put the pieces on the Lego that you want to add, and also will allow you to take pieces out of the Lego. Meaning, you need to be prepared to change or transform as you go along. There is another metaphor. You said, "I'm going to build my airplane while it's flying."
Yeah. You can know yeah. So then, Carlos, but then what are the key elements that this foundation need to have so our entrepreneurs can have an idea, right? What are the elements that they need to look at? Yeah. For example, I think that is key. One of the things that you say in the to have a strong foundation. One of the things that you just share, that for you to become a leader yourself and for you to attract leaders to your organization, I think this is definitely one
Yes.
of element of what this strong foundation, bulletproof, tsunami proof, hurricane proof. One of the elements is the entrepreneur have to learn leadership skills, have to become a leader, and also attract leaders to the organization. But one more element, Carlos, the entrepreneur need to look at to make sure that they have very, very solid foundation before they move forward. Because you're 100% right, it's gonna fall. And that's the reason why 98% of the business are failing in the 0 to 1 uh, uh, um, journey, in the journey to make the first million. So um, one more elements they need to
Yes.
look at.
Okay, that's fantastic, because what are we talking here largely is not only a viable a living system, but also a viable system. And a viable system means that we have to have the strength to recognize that from time to time we're going to make mistakes, that from time to time we are not doing the right things. And that requires, from the part of the leadership, to leave their ego out and to say, yes, I'm going to listen, I'm prepared to share things, in the sense that if we need to change and transform ourselves and rediscover that we need a different path, we're not going to hesitate. And we have the same belief that we can make the necessary adjustment, the necessary correction, in order to continue our journey as a business.
And then, Professor, I'm glad you touched this, and let's expand a little bit more, because uh, as an entrepreneur, people start you have that ego, okay? Uh, I think they all have ego. We all have ego at the beginning because we believe that we can do it better than anybody else, and that's the main reason why we start a business. However, this ego is gonna become our biggest enemy if we don't manage, because it will be on the way for us to become a leader, and it cannot come from the position, okay, I'm the boss here, everybody has to do what I say, I call up the shots. Number one, because it's exhausted, and number two, because this don't um, don't empower leadership within the organization. So only that part can start to break the foundation, because if the I have seen, Carlos, honestly, I have seen CEOs, entrepreneurs, yeah, saying phrases like, "This is not my job." Well, sales and marketing, this is not my job. I'm just gonna focus in the product, and so, which is something that, if you if you hear a CEO saying this is not my job, what do you think that the rest of the people in the organization are gonna say when it comes out a little bit of their scope? Oh, this is not my job either. So it becomes a spiral. So and it all comes um, regarding this ego, that we have to sometime we have to surrender it, and we have to do something very difficult for a lot of entrepreneurs, which is give control to your team, to the other leaders of your organization, give them the capacity of decision making without you, and this is hard for for the people. Let me tell you a story. Yeah, in my first business, the property business, we managed to sell over 5 million, and I remember I started to hire my team. Yeah, and I was so happy about my team because they were better than me at everything they do. Honestly, they were all better than me at everything. I thought that I was good at sales. No, they were selling their rooms better than me, and the operations and everything. I was so happy. I was telling everybody, my team is amazing. They are great. However, I was in the office, and they all used to come to me, Harry, what can I do with this? How can I do with this? Harry, I have this problem. Harry, I have this, I have that. And, there were too many. So it became really busy for me. So only for auto protect myself, yeah, I put a sign in the behind my desk where it says, don't come and don't ask me a question if you don't have the answer. Yeah. So then they will come and say, okay, I have this problem. Okay, what solution do you suggest? And they will say, well, I suggest these three solutions. And then I will tell, okay, choose one. Why shall I choose one? You came with the solution. You better than me at sales. So propose the solution, pick your favorite. We try. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. This is nothing different than what I'm gonna do myself. To the point that the team, they were even saying in the office, oh, don't go and ask Harry. Harry's useless. You need to come to your solution and choose yourself. So what's the point to go and ask him? They were even joking about this. But at some point, guess what happened? One day I go to the office and they tell me, Harry, go home. We don't need you here. And we can operate this business without you. Go on holiday if you want. So I make obsolete myself in my own business. The team literally sent me home because they could run, because they all have decision making. I made sure that they all have the control for the decision making, and I release control to them, to the way that they could actually operate the business and grow the business without me. And this is something beautiful that happened to me. And but if all becomes for that, Carlos, all because if I'm this leader that say, well, everybody has to do what I say, then I still will be in the office. And then what's the point to do a business in the first place? And leadership, you talk a lot about leadership. The point of the leader is to generate new leaders and remove themselves. Look what happened in Latin America. A lot of leaders become dictatorship. They don't want to let go. They stay there, right? So and then they come themselves leaders. I doubt, but you know what I mean. So the point, Carlos, is that if this is part of this foundation that you talk about, yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned this ego, because it have to do a lot how you transform and how you become, because you are in business. A lot of people start business by accident. Even me. You have a product, you sell, you start to make money, and hey, you're in business. But one thing is you are in business kind of by accident, or you're selling your product completely different. Is build this strong foundation, and completely different has to be this transition for you to become leader. So, what is your view on this, Carlos? And
Let me
yeah.
explore that because that is music to my ear. And you
Yeah.
will love this because I'm a professor of new science. In fact, I have made three scientific contributions. One is new science, which intertwine ancient wisdom with the emerging new science of the 21st century, namely neuroplasticity, epigenetic, quantum physics, living and viable systems, human conductivity, which is another of my scientific contribution, which is to do with energy field. Now, what you have just elaborated in terms of your amazing experience on the ego and control is what I have now developed the science for conscious human to human empowerment. So I am now putting a little label to the experience that you had, and your experience was through going in a journey of transformation when you become conscious that the best way forward was to empower others, and you have the power to empower other people. Yes. And that I call conscious human to human empowerment. Yeah. Human to human empowerment, it means that the leader goes through the process where, as you said, it doesn't really now run the company on an ego control trip. Yes. It means now that you become involved in something that could be described as making sure that your colleagues understand that they have to self-organize themselves, they have to manage themselves, and as you said, they need to think about what will be the solution. And that most important, you need to create trust for them really to trust you that you will listen and you will build out of their own contribution, and you will create this self-belief on them that you are open, that you are able to give them and the necessary tools, but most important, that they feel empowered by you. Yes. And this is what I call conscious human to human empowerment. So a business that doesn't focus on the human dimensions, and this is what I call co-designing your business, focusing on human dimensions. For example, validation and recognition of your team, of your colleagues. Yes. For example, as well, to share the concept, the meaning, and work together for a common understanding. This is what I call designing your business in the context of putting the human dimensions as the key way of empowering. So, for example, as well, to share the solutions. Yes. So they are part of creating the condition for mutual validation between the teams, meaning in the case that you have, and again, this is all to do with your organization, because if the organization is based on the usual silos and there is no interaction between the different departments, then you will have very narrow boxes going on. So that's another important thing, is not to pigeonhole people and somehow curtail their potential. So I completely follow you, Harry, with your description of the experience you have. You, without knowing, were practicing my new science. You were practicing conscious human empowerment.
By accident, yeah. Then, Professor, um, One more topic that we're gonna talk about now that we're talking about the mindset of the entrepreneur is the how you release negative emotion, because when you have a business and you're starting and nobody knows you, it's hard to find the first clients. They want to pay you little money because nobody knows you. Then your supplier want to charge you a lot of money and give you unreasonable conditions, and then the operation people or your operation is not working, and you start to build all these negative emotions. You're tired because you are wearing all these hats in the business, but somehow when you grow, yeah, again, I always said, if when the business is small, you have a small mess. When you expand the big mess, yeah. So, and sometimes that's what happened in the journey of an entrepreneur without knowing. They get caught in this egocentric mindset that I have to do everything. I'm wearing all the hats. I'm not delegating anything to anybody. Um, at some point, it's valid because you cannot afford it. But in that transition, until you start to afford and you start to pay people to do it, um, a lot of negative emotion are going inside your brain, that if you don't release it, um, emotional pain can become physical pain, and they can end up with cancer. They can end up with heart attacks, and we don't want this for entrepreneurs. We want them to be wealthy, healthy, and happy. Um, so, what, for example, for me is very important to go for a walk. Yeah, I love this area of Lancaster Gate, for Hyde Park. I go for a walk there very often in London, and I love it because it's allowed me to release whatever we can call it, accumulation of emotions, yeah, that the business produce, and then you are in peace. You go back to zero. The other thing that is important, Carlos, is arriving to the point of your life, where you don't have to prove anything to anybody, because it's a very peaceful way to operate. And sometimes, because we want to prove that we're better, we want to prove that we are somebody, then we start this race, that even if things are not working, because we are again fighting with our ego, and we want to prove that we're better, and yeah, you can achieve things, but it's draining, it's exhausted, can actually affect your health, yeah. So, what message do you have for the entrepreneurs out there that they are not conscious enough yet how much they have to do work on themselves? Because in the end of the day, it's not gonna matter if they build a multi-million-pound business, because you can build a multi-million-pound business um, with operating and this level where everybody had to do what you say, and you have all these challenges and negative emotions, and because everything depends on you, then you're tired, you're operating a lot of hours, then you're angry, you're in bad mood, and then because you're not learning leadership skills, now your team doesn't have leadership skills. So to make the first million is very exhausted. It's like going against the stream, like you're going like a salmon against the stream, which is, even nature doesn't work that way. The other day, one entrepreneur came here and asked me a question. Told me, Harry, what is the fastest point from A to B? And I'm an engineer, so I said straight line. And he told me, Harry, it's not a straight line. It's the path with less resistance. Think about the river. So yeah, you can make a million with a lot of resistance, or you can make it in flow. The issue is if you make it in flow and you manage to release your negative emotion, the outcome, because it's less resistant, you're gonna be wealthy, happy, and healthy. If you take a path with resistance, which includes everything that we talk about today, um, you can be wealthy, but definitely your health is gonna have an impact and your life, because some entrepreneurs don't even have time to talk with the wife, to talk with the children, because they are busy. So then, Carlos, what message do you have for those entrepreneurs in terms of mindset, how they can balance and release? Because this negative emotion, again, they can become they will become this emotional pain will become a physical pain, and they can end up with an illness.
Well, thank you again for triggering on my thoughts, what I would like to share. And yes, I think the negative emotion, let me explain to you. I think I share with you my paper on human conductivity. And you just mentioned the word flow, yes? And energy, energy, if you transform the word emotion and you just use the E and then hyphen motion, is energy in motion. So energy in motion is how do you create a mindset to understand the flow of energy. So if we apply this to a business organization, what happened is that the flow of energy within the organization is blocked. And the flow of energy in yourself is have blocks. And this is the concept now of burnout. So when you burn out, you are emotionally, yes, facing serious conditions, biological conditions, psychological conditions, physiological conditions, thinking conditions, feeling conditions, because this is impacting you, as you said, negatively. So the understanding of what is emotions, what are your feelings, are very important from the point of view of your consciousness and your awareness. So when you are burned out, it's not just you, because you are given now what we can call vibrations, frequencies in your body language, in the tone of your voice, in your way of conveying and communicating with other people. So in that sense, you're generating very negative conditions within yourself, but also with anyone around you. So if you go to a client with this type of mindset, the client will immediately absorb this energy from you. So the shortest point to secure a client is not the direct line. Yeah, is to really understand what is the flow, how I understand the flow of my relationship with my clients. Yes. So in this sense, you also are involved now in what I describe as human conductivity, and within that you have different stages of managing your emotions. Yes. So you can when you say there is negative emotion, it means anxiety, stress, fragility, uncertainty, and that have a dramatic impact on the overall progress and the overall success of the business. So in that sense, the premises here is you as a leader, yeah, and you as a human being, do you really know yourself? Yes. So knowing yourself, yes, your what I describe your inner microcosmos. and that relationship with the outer macrocosm, which is the business environment, the society as a whole. So in that sense, when I know myself, for example, simple thing that I do every day in the morning. First thing I do in the morning when I wake up, breathing exercise. So I do diaphragmatic breathing exercise. So I breathe, I'll demonstrate it for you, and then release it through my mouth. I do this in the morning, first thing, midday, and before I go to sleep. Yes. So that the way you breathe, you recognize, yes, I got a good rhythm of breathing, or no, I have problems. Yeah. So you can assess that straight away in yourself. There's too many techniques. The one that I think is important is breathing, and this comes from my scientific background. Because if you look at the 4 elements, air, water, fire, earth, yeah, and I always, this will share with you, if you don't breathe love, meaning yourself, you need to breathe love. Yes, you need to energize yourself with love. Yes, you need to sow the seed of love, and you need to flow in the ocean of love.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic, Carlos, because I think what you just shared is really powerful, especially the regarding the mindset when you're talking about, the entrepreneurs and the clients. If you have anxiety, if you have a stress, if you're forcing an outcome, if you're selling your product just because you want to make money, just because you don't believe, the clients can sense that
I
energy.
can tell you a story where the trust have been built in common language, common meaning, common understanding, mutual respect, mutual validation. And this is true. So, going back to something else, for meetings, you mentioned Lancaster Place and then
Yeah.
going to Hyde Park.
Yeah.
I met Annette. The first thing I said to Annette, our common friends, let's go for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
We spent 2 hours in the park.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking all the time about our relationship with Mother Nature.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I did the same in my business, meaning I was the managing director of a digital transformation company here in Holland. And luckily, very close to the office, it was a canal with a so beautiful park. I took my colleagues for a walk, then bring them to the meeting. They were energized, they were more open.
Absolutely. And you
And
can release all the 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 mindset, all the emotions. You can breathe. You connect with nature. And I think, Carlos, that yes, again, we need to find this path, what we call it, with less resistance. Yeah,
yes,
that we are in flow. So, and with that note, Carlos, thank you so much for coming for the podcast. I really appreciate to share your knowledge with the audience, and for all of you following the Unstoppable podcast. See you in our next episode, how brave entrepreneurs like Carlos break that wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.